Hello everybody and welcome to Destiny 2 New Light. In this getting started guide, I hope to cover all the ins and outs and answer all the questions you might have before jumping into Destiny. Now, Destiny 2 New Light is a free-to-play version of Destiny 2 and is available on PC via Steam, PlayStation Network, and Xbox Live. It is completely free to play, but there's a lot of things that are included and there's a lot of things that are not included that we're going to go over in this guide. So if you have any questions or I miss anything, please let me know in the comments below so that way we can make sure we cover it all for you. One of the most common questions we currently get is, do you need PlayStation Now or do you need Xbox Live to play this game? And the answer is no, but a lot of the game is going to be cut off from you. So any kind of content that's going to require you to run with other players like strikes, aka dungeons, or PvP, the Crucible, then yes, you're going to need PlayStation Now or you're going to need Xbox Live. But if you're on Steam, that's not going to be a requirement, so you don't need to worry about that additional cost to play this game. However, you will be able to play this game, story missions, patrols, go out into the different zones, and enjoy overall the game, but it is still going to be pretty limited, so you need to factor that in if you want to decide to jump into this game. Now, ultimately, if you end up enjoying Destiny 2, you can purchase it, but we're going to go over all the different purchase options as what is included and what isn't included overall here just in a minute. But first, we're going to talk about selecting your class. Now, we kind of covered this a little bit ago in our Getting Started Primer guide, just kind of talking to you about what is Destiny 2. It's an action MMO. You've got three classes. You've got the Titan, you've got the Hunter, and you've got the Warlock. So you could pick any of these classes and get started. How they play is really similar and also at the same time different, meaning you have access to all the weapons, but armor, perks, how you move, what actions you have available to you are all going to be different. Now, if you are new to this game and you've never experienced it before and you are coming from games like Call of Duty, maybe check out the Hunter. They're going to have the more natural movement, the most natural style jumps that you're used to. They can get a triple jump as well, which gives you a lot of mobility. The Warlock class is obviously kind of like your mage, and it has a lot of, I guess, a floaty jump, I guess, is the best way for me to kind of explain it, but you do have a blink as well, so a kind of a teleport jump that you can use. It does take a little bit of getting used to, and I wouldn't recommend stepping into the Crucible just without any experience on the job just yet. And then finally, we want to talk about Titan. Titan, if you love punching things, if you really love getting up close and personal, this might be the best job for you. It's got kind of a rocket jump, but beyond its jump style itself, you'll find that it feels like a lot like Master Chief. That's how I kind of describe it. If you're coming from Halo, Titan might really kind of be the best fit. If you're coming from Call of Duty, maybe the Hunter. And if you just like to get and like to wreck things with giant glowy balls of pain, check out the Warlock. All are fun. I play all of them, and so can you. You can actually create one of each. Now, each class will have a subclass, and that's all based off the elements. And we're not going to go into in-depth for that, but there are a lot of guides, both on Reddit as well as on YouTube, that can go into the different types of builds, and that's going to continually be refining as the meta itself is continuing to be refined. Now, I want to talk about creating your character. If I pick Titan, you're going to need to know what kind of face that you're going to want to look at for a long time. Right now, you don't have a lot of customization options to go back and change this. So be sure that you set this the right way first, because it's going to be something you have to stick with for a while now. Let me go ahead and I'm just going to make an exo male, and we'll go from there. I mean, the race that you have available to you isn't really that important. It doesn't have it. There's no racial attributes or what have you. It's all tied into the lore. And if you're looking for more lore about this game, check out My Name is Bife. He does fantastic different lore dives and deep dives. And if I'm introducing you to him, I'm very thrilled by that fact because he is incredible. So now it's time for us to talk about what content is actually included in Destiny 2 New Light. So we've got this handy little graphic up here that Bungie put out, and this is going to detail what you have access to within this whole new free-to-play experience. So when they say all Year 1 exotic weapons and armor, what does that really mean? Well, Year 1 was basically vanilla Destiny. Year 2, Forsaken, and now we're on Year 3, which is Shadowkeep. That's how these are going to be broken up. So all Year 1 exotic weapons and armor are included without any additional purchase. You can free roam access to all destinations. This means that you have the ability to go to all the new zones and go and play them. You got to go play the patrols and the different activities that are contained within those zones. You're going to have access to the Red War campaign, the Curse of Osiris campaign. It's kind of meh. but that's just my personal opinion. The Warmind campaign, I actually really enjoyed that one. You're going to have access to the Black Armory Forges, the Gambit Prime system, the Menagerie, the Year 1 Nightfall Strikes, Gambit and Crucible private matches. This is really nice. They've included the private matches option for anybody who's new. That means you can go and play with your friends and you can get to learn the maps and really the movement of your characters without necessarily feeling like you're getting destroyed in typical Crucible PvP. Speaking of Crucible PvP, you've got access to all the playlists. You get free seasonal updates and you get access to the Crucible weapons and gear. From a Strikes perspective, this is the PvE dungeons that we've mentioned before. You get access to all the strikes via the strike playlist, but you can only directly launch the Year 1 strikes on your own. Now you also will get access to all the Vanguard weapons and gear. And then for the raids, you get access to the Leviathan and 2 raid layers, Eater of World and Spire of Stars. That's all included. And then as far as in-game events go, you have Iron Banner, Festival of the Lost, The Dawning, Crimson Days, The Revelry, and Solstice of Heroes. Everything but the Iron Banner is a seasonal type event. Obviously, like Festival of the Lost is going to be our Halloween event, and Solstice of Heroes is a fun thing to do during the summer before, in this case, Year 4 of Destiny launches. So keep that in mind. Now, what do you not get? What is not included with New Light? You don't get Year 2 subclass trees and supers. You're going to need to have Forsaken or Shadowkeep in order to unlock these. You don't get access to the Year 2 raids, Last Wish, Scourge of the Past, Crown of Sorrows, and Garden of Salvation. You don't get access to directly fire off 2 Year 2 dungeons, the Shattered Throne, and a new Shadowkeep dungeon that's on its way. You do not get access to Year 2 and Year 3 exotic quests and raid drops. For Year 2, this is Anarchy, Ace of Spades, Nzangi's Burden, probably butchering the pronunciation of that, Lumana, Manifestance, The Thousand Voices, Terabana, The Chaperone, The Last Word, Thorn, Truth, Wish Eater, and Year 3 exotics, which we're all still discovering. To get access to the Forsaken campaign, you're going to need to purchase Forsaken. To get access to Shadowkeep, you're going to need to purchase Shadowkeep. If you buy Shadowkeep, you will not have access to Forsaken. They are separate purchases, but there is a complete edition, so keep an eye out on that. So there's also new content and modes that are included only with Shadowkeep. That's the Nightmare Hunts, and then also you have the concept of the Seasonal Pass content. Now, if you buy Shadowkeep, you will get the first season of Season of the Dying that we're on. However, if you don't want to do that and you just want to buy the season itself, it's 1,000 silver, it's basically $10. So that is the balance and the give and take. There are free tiers to all the Season Pass models, so keep that in mind. So now that you understand what New Light is, you're going to play the first mission and you're going to be taken into the tower. This is going to be the social hub where you're going to see quests and more. If you just hold down your select button, you're going to bring up the director, which is going to have your map, destinations, roster, and more. We're going to dive into that here. But here just on the map, you can see various quests are. You can press A on any of these items and it's going to make it a trackable waypoint. This can be very handy, especially when you're out in the world. And if you want to specifically see that something is glowing in blue, so you know exactly where to go. And you can see when you're not looking at it, it's still going to show up on your screen as a trackable item. So keep that in mind and use the director to your assistance. Now let's go ahead and cover more about what the director does. So we briefly touched on the map. You can see here I'm in the tower. You can see all the various different options. These glowy arrows are landing zones. You can fast travel within zones to these different landing zones, and everything else is going to be things that you can interact with. If you're looking for PvP, go talk to Shax here and he's going to help you with the Crucible. If you're looking for PvE, you'll find Zavala here talking about strikes and more playlists. They have things called bounties for you, and that's going to bring us to our quest section. If you're looking for things that you want to do, this is where you need to go. You're going to have your main quests, which are going to drive you through the world of Destiny. You're going to have bounties, which are going to be timed 24-hour mini quests that you get from various vendors that reward you with experience, loot, and more. I highly recommend that you make sure you're stocked up on bounties before you go out and do content. They do cost Glimmer, and Glimmer is essentially the in-game currency that you need to be aware of. You're going to have a cap of 250,000 Glimmer, so at some point you're going to be just rolling with so much Glimmer that it's really not going to matter, and you can just go as much as you want, buy as many of the bounties that you need. If you're going to be spending the night doing strikes, make sure you pick up all the strike bounties. Vice versa, raids, and more, they're all going to be listed here. You have access to the store now, so this is going to be where they're going to try to sell you the expansions. This is where they're going to try to sell you seasonal content offerings. With Destiny going free to play, this seems a little bit more balanced when it comes down to how they monetize games, but that's always going to be a debate and a discussion for players going forward. Where Destiny 2 New Light excels is in its destinations. You can see here I have access to the Crucible, to Gambit, and to Vanguard, the European Dead Zone, and the Tower right away. You can see here from the moon perspective that it was going to say reach power level 780 to be able to participate in this. But you can see Nexus, the Dreaming City, all the different zones that are available. But you can see because I just started, they're going to require that I get experience, at least 350,000 experience for Mercury, at least 140,000 for Mars, and more to be able to unlock these zones. You get experience by doing anything, quests, the story missions, bounties. All of that's going to contribute to your progress in unlocking this world and this game. And that's one of the really beautiful things, is that New Light isn't going to limit you from any of this content, because that way I think it's a better way to help sell their content. If the content's good and people are raving about it, more likely people are going to buy it in. If people are griping and frustrated about it, more likely it's going to chase you away. So that's going to be where that lives. Under the roster tab, this is where you're going to see your clan, your friends, people who are actually in your in-game world. Destiny 2 takes place as a part of this shared world as it's moving into its action MMO, and I'm wondering if we're going to see that grow over time. But you'll see your friends and your clan listed here. And then the last tab under the director is your seasons. As you get experience, as you rank up, you're going to unlock this. And see, because I'm New Light and I don't have Shadowkeep on this current character, it's telling me to get the season pass. You're going to have access to all the tier 1 stuff on top. You're going to have the premium pass, essentially the season pass, to be able to unlock all this stuff on the bottom. And if you page through here, you're going to start to see that top pass starts to get a little bit bare in terms of what it's offering, while the bottom pass has content for each different step. There's going to be 4 seasons in a year. Like we said, we're in year 3. You have access to year 1, and so on and so forth. Now, let's go ahead and dive into our character screen. By pressing start, you're going to bring up your character screen. There's a lot of content here. There's a lot that you need to be aware of. So Destiny is an RPG. You're going to see a lot of different stats here. Here's where you'll see your buffs, and here's where you see your stats. And this is what's really great about Shadowkeep in year 3. Here, when you equip gear, you can see it listed on there what kind of stats it has. Now, I don't have other gear to kind of compare to, but if I had another piece of gear, you could hold the right trigger and it's going to fly out and show you what is changing. So for the top option, it's my mobility. I'm at tier 4. This gives me a 16% base increase of speed of movement. If I get to tier 5, that's going to be a 20% increase to my movement speed. My resilience, this is how hard I am to kill. Right now I'm at a tier 2, gives me a 2% shield increase capacity. Tier 3 gives me 3%. For recovery, this is how fast my shields recover. Right now I'm at 9%. If I get to tier 4, I will be at 11%, and so on and so forth. Now, that is about how you move, how you live, and how you breathe. Now is how you fight. And that's first step is discipline. Discipline is your grenade ability. At tier 4, I have a grenade ability every minute and 8 seconds. If I get it to tier 5, that's going to drop down to 59 seconds. From here, my super ability, this is how often you can use those ultimate moves and just like destroy things. Right now, I'm at a 5 minute 43 seconds, but if I get it to the tier 3, that drops 43 seconds. That's a huge drop. Then from strength, that's your melee. So again, if you're rocking a Titan, maybe you want to look at how often and how hard you can hit people with this stat. And you see your melee cooldown ability right now at tier 3 at 1 minute 22 seconds, dropping that to 108 if I can get that to tier 4. And that's all going to be based off of your gear. Now you can see for my Titan Mark, this is your exclusive class armor. It does have benefits and perks that are going to come with it, but you're not going to see that here. Now, if you press Y on the details of any of this gear, you're going to be able to see it. And this game also offers appearances options. So you press down from the gear, you can actually see all different shaders and different options that you have. So if you get ornaments and more, you can dive in and you can customize the look of your character to a big degree. Now, again, we talked about subclasses. For the Titan, that's the Striker, that's the Sentinel, and that's the Sunbreaker. Those are all going to dictate what kind of abilities you have, and selecting A on any of them is going to be what equips them. Pressing Y or triangle is going to bring you in to the different modes, and you can see the different tiers of abilities that you have and how you can customize your grenade and how you can customize your jump, and as you can customize your utility build here. We're not going to do a deep dive on what class you should play, but if you need a guide like that, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to make sure I can get some more information for you and really pack it full of as much information as possible. Same thing kind of goes for your guns. You can see your various gun slots that will be as a part of it when you hover over. So you have your primary, your secondary, and your super weapon. Now, these weapons can all roll into different slots. So you could get a rocket launcher that actually rolls as a part of your number 1 slot, but it's still going to use that heavy ammo. You can see the ammo dictated by white, green, and purple. Purple being the most rare, green being less rare, but obviously more powerful, and white being your primary weapon. So you can see where these things and your drops roll. That could be that you could end up rocking 2 primaries. You could end up rocking double shotguns. We don't know why, but you might. Like, the game's going to give you enough freedom to really kind of create the build that you want. And that's going to be how that goes. Now, pressing down, just like you did in the inventory screen, brings you to where you can customize your Sparrow. This is the mount that you ride when you're out in the open world. You can customize the ship that you fly in from content to content. And there's so much to unlock, especially when it comes to the seasons and more. And we're going to jump into that with the collections tab here in a second. You can customize your emblem. This is what's going to show up for you. You can customize your finisher, and you can also customize your emotes. Y or triangle is going to be that, and you can see you can equip multiple emotes here, and that gives you that when you're in the game you can do the D-pad and you can see what kind of emotes you have access to. So they have some very awesome emotes, and that's a very cool style that they do, and so they've got a lot of uniqueness to them. And then again, they're a fun thing to chase and to acquire. But let's go back to our menu. If you hit right bumper or R1, this is going to take you in inventory. This is where consumables, modifications, and shaders are. What's really great about modifications in Destiny 2 and Destiny 2 New Light, Shadowkeep, is that these are now things that you do not need to worry about. They're not consumable anymore. So if you want to go and equip mods, you can actually go into the different weapons and select those. Mods are going to be something that you need to go chase because it's going to allow you to kind of build out that perfect style, like Guardian that you want. Do you want to be really grenade heavy? Do you want to be really like super ammo heavy? There's a lot of things to chase, and we'll be sure to cover more of that as time goes on. Let's talk about triumphs, and then we'll go into collections and finally clan. Triumphs are a way for you to kind of sit here and set goals for yourself. You've got a lot of things to complete, and you can see your overall total score that's listed here. You also have these things called seals. These are various things that you do. So you do all of these things, and you're going to be rewarded with various titles and more. This is bragging rights at its finest, but it's also motivation for finding things to do. If you ever like, what should I be doing in the game? You can look in here and see if there's anything you want to chase after, and the game is going to offer that. It's that MMORPG just in and of itself. So there's plenty of game to play. Finally, in that same vein, you have collections. This is going to be where you can track how many exotics you have, how many weapons you have, how much armor you've gotten, and you can actually go and pull this content out of the game and give it to yourself as long as you have the currency to be able to acquire it. And again, you see your primary, secondary, and and tertiary, your heavy ammo and stuff like that here. So you can see here, I can get this weapon, this sword, if I get enough gunsmith materials. How do you get gunsmith materials? Well, it's as simple as breaking down your weapons and armor. So if you have extra weapons and armor that you're not needing, you get drops. You're like, well, I'm not going to use this green gear anymore. You can hold X, you can hold the square button. It will dispose of it, and it will feed you glimmer, and it will feed you weaponsmith materials that will allow you to do different things. There's going to be a lot of different costs. There's a lot of different currencies in the game. We talked about glimmer. When you start breaking down your purples, you're going to start getting legendary shards. You also have silver. This is the premium currency that you purchase from the store to be able to use within the game Destiny. And then you have bright dust. This is going to be rewarded for you for doing various activities week over week. And you can use this to also shop in the store. It's kind of like a mid-tier premium currency. There's going to be things that are for sale for bright dust that you can purchase. And that way, as you do those kind of activities, you're not cut off from the glamour. You're not cut off from the store. You don't have to spend money where you don't want to spend money. If you play the game enough, you can go out and get some of this content and hopefully enjoy it. And that's really, really exciting to see. So finally, this character is not actually in a clan, but you can join a clan. There are clan rewards, clan perks, and more that are at your disposal. I highly recommend that you do this. If you've got a group of friends, go form your own clan. Everything that y'all are doing is activating that clan. Even if they're on PlayStation, PC, Xbox, it doesn't matter. That clan activity is all being contributed. We had somebody complete the raid on PlayStation the other day, and it counted for everybody on Xbox. And especially now with cross-save, that's even more important. Hopefully we're going to see crossplay. Destiny has talked about it. Bungie has talked about that for the future, but we're still going to have to wait and ultimately see. So, all that being said, hopefully this gives you a decent amount of information to get started. It's a big world. It's a really big world when it comes to Destiny. When you get engrams, when you get those items that aren't decomposed, go talk to the Cryptarch. When you want to talk to the gunsmith, this is where it's going to take you first. These quests are going to take you around the world. And ultimately, the most important thing that I can, bestow upon you is don't be afraid to ask questions, either in the comments below, on Reddit. The community can be very welcoming, and just come in and say hi. We hope that you come and you enjoy this game, but also I just want to stress that you know what you're getting into. This is an action MMO. There's going to be things that if you don't like MMOs, you're probably not going to like about Destiny, and it's okay not to like the game. It's perfectly fine. What we want for you to do is to find the game that you really enjoy and you have fun playing with your friends. I think the gameplay is something that is so incredibly solid, and I'm really happy personally that they're leaning more into the RPG, where I can really build out my character for right or wrong, whether that goes with the meta or against the meta. But that's just my personal opinion. Hopefully this guide's been helpful. If it has, hit that like button, leave me a comment below, let me know if you have any additional questions, and that way we can help kind of frame out these guides for players who are new, who are coming to check out this game. For Work to Game, my name's Brian. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you have a fantastic day. And take care.